Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Great to see you. So, time for another video, but before we get into the topic, just a usual bit of housekeeping for us all. As always, I'm going to ask you to hit that subscribe button if you've not already done so. It costs absolutely nothing to you, and it takes literally a second. It helps me so much to rise up those rankings in that all-important YouTube algorithm. You can also consider becoming a member and support the channel that way. I have 3 levels of membership available. You can find out all about them by clicking on the join button. Speaking of members, I've had some new members recently, and I want to give a really big welcome to Heather Ekman, who joins as a consultant member. Welcome to the channel, Heather. Also, Godswell Zeku Wu, who has joined as a principal consultant. I do hope I said your last name correctly, Godswill, and it was really nice to talk to you the other week when we had our one-to-one chat. Also, Tim Pasteur, who has been a consultant member for about 21 days now. So the memberships are growing. It's lovely to see my long-term members renewing each month and new members coming in. So spread the word. Tell everyone how great it is being a member of the channel, and hopefully we'll grow our little community. And as we do, hopefully we'll get a few more members, perks and events and whatnot sorted as we go into 2024. We might look at that. Anyway, rambled on, as I always do, a little bit too much. What's today's video all about? I want to talk to you about a preview feature that has been long awaited in Microsoft 365, more specifically what is now known as Microsoft Syntex, formerly SharePoint Syntex. I'm talking about the new archive feature for SharePoint Sites. I'm going to take a look at that in this video. I did want to start by talking more on the Microsoft 365 backup feature that is also going to be included in Syntex. That has not yet appeared in my tenant. It should appear fairly soon, but it's not there yet. So I've had to go what I perceive to be backwards and cover the archive feature first, although they do very different things. So I digress. So that's what this video is all about. Archive in this one, backup to come soon. Let's take a look. So to activate the Microsoft Archive feature, or the backup feature when it does become available in your tenant, you need to be in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center as an administrator. I'm in as a global admin here, and I've navigated to the Setup menu. And underneath Setup, what we need to do is we need to scroll down to Files and Content, use Content AI with Microsoft Syntex. So if we click onto that, here we can see we have an option to set up billing. Now, it's not going to let me do this on this tenant because I don't have an Azure subscription associated with it, but I just wanted to show you this first. Click on Set Up Billing, and it shows you the prerequisites that you need. You need an Azure subscription, at least one that supports pay-as-you-go products. You need a resource group, so Syntex will be represented in Azure as a resource, and you need a resource group to manage Syntex together with any related resources. Creating a resource group is very easy. Probably not worth covering in this actual video, but I can post a link about how you do that. It's literally a quick click, name, subscription selection, and off you go. And then set up the billing. So then you've got to choose your Azure subscription, resource group, and the region you want to use. So there we go. And you can see here that it's telling me that I need an Azure subscription, and I don't have one, so I can't proceed. However, here is a tenant that I configured earlier where I do have an Azure subscription. So I'm switching to that one now, and you can see what you will have once you've enabled the Syntex on the Azure subscription. So you can get started by managing your billing. So if we take a look at that, we can see that I've got this set up on my Azure subscription, the Visual Studio Enterprise. I can edit that there. I've got it aligned to a resource group called PR1. Note that I can't change that. So when you set your resource group, that's it set. And I've got it set to the region of UK West. Again, you cannot change that by the looks of it. So what have we got within Microsoft Syntex here? Let's have a look at managing Microsoft Syntex. Now, the features that I came to produce this video for you today that I wanted to demonstrate were specifically archive and more really was the backup, but I don't have backup in the tenant yet. They're both in preview right now. Backup should be dropping towards the end of December, early 2024, so I'm going to keep an eye on that, and we'll come back maybe to that and cover that one in another video. But for now, I can show you the archiving features. You'll note that there's a lot of other stuff in here though. Content center, document processing, unstructured document processing, image tagging, OCR, lots of stuff there. This relates to content that now known as Microsoft Syntex as a whole, something I've talked about in the past when it was known as SharePoint Syntex. I've done a bit of blogging on this in the past, and I'm sure at some point I've done some videos, perhaps on the old Cloud Conversations channel, but I've definitely covered this a lot in the past. It's come on a long way since then, and this is a subject in and of itself, so I'll probably do a Microsoft Syntex series of videos going forward, but really I'm going off on a tangent because I want to show you the archive functionality here. So what is this all about? What can we do with archiving? Well, we can optimize storage quota consumption in SharePoint by using archiving. And we can use M365 Archive to reduce the cost of storing inactive sites. You can reactivate the archived sites at any time to regain access for a fee. So you got to watch out with this by the looks of it. And I say by the looks of it because I've not tested this yet. You're seeing this as I do. We can learn more about M365 Archive. I've got some links that I will include as usual for you to take a look yourself. But here we go. So I've not tried this yet. Let's turn this on. Let's see what happens when we click the turn on button. So by enabling Microsoft 365 Archive, you can archive SharePoint sites. You can start by archiving your inactive sites on SharePoint and manage archived sites. By enabling, you accept the terms of service. Okay, suppose I should read those, but let's be honest, whoever does that. But you probably should. That's bad advice. Anyway, there we go. What have we got? Let's have a wee look. So it's turned on. Simple as that. Now it's telling me that it's enabled. I can go to Microsoft 365 Archive. Where's this going to take me? This is exciting. It's taking me into the SharePoint Admin Center, which makes a lot of sense. That's not a surprise, really. So what can we do here? Use this page to manage archived sites. Sites that were archived in the last 7 days are considered recently archived and can be reactivated without a fee. So if you put them back within a 7-day period, you're not going to be charged. So, okay, nothing to find here because nothing has been archived yet. So let's take a look at active sites. Now, I know for a fact there's going to be plenty in here that I can archive for sure. So there's a lot that I don't use here. No doubt about that. So let's just pick on a site. Let's just pick on something like human resources. And how do we do this? One would assume that it's, never assume anything though, that it's, yeah, there you go, under the 3 dots. Good guess. I can archive this site here. I mean, it's got nothing in it, but that doesn't matter. Let's just do it. Archive the site. Storage to be archived, 2.19 megabyte. Last activity, October 15th, 2020. Let's go ahead and archive that. Yes, what have we got here? Your selection includes one site that belongs to a Microsoft 365 group. Archiving this site will archive site contents, but other associated group elements like Teams channel, Exchange mailboxes, will continue being active. Users will see error messages when trying to access archived content. This is good stuff. This is a gotcha that you have to watch out for. So be careful of that when you're archiving sites that are related to groups, teams, Exchange mailboxes. These are big gotchas. So, but let's confirm that anyway because it's just a test environment and it's the site is archived. Nice and simple. You can reactivate this site and its contents instantly within 7 days from archived sites page without incurring any cost. After 7 days, you can reactivate the site after incurring a cost as per Microsoft 365 Archive billing. Cool, nice and simple. Let's go back to archived sites. Is it going to be in there yet, or is it going to take a bit of time? No, it's there. That's awesome. Nice. Nice and simple. So what happens if we click on that? What options have we got? Okay, well, we can delete it from archive. So if we want to get rid of it there, we can get rid of it altogether. We can reactivate it. What happens if we click on there? I see we get some information about the site itself. So we can see its general tab and its name and email address and all sorts of other statistics on it, its activity, its membership settings, who's a member of it, and general settings as well in terms of privacy, sensitivity labeling, external file sharing even, and whatnot. But how easy is it to reactivate? Pretty simple, I would guess. Click on reactivate. The site was archived in the last 7 days and can be activated without a fee. After the site is reactivated, the site contents will also become available across the Microsoft 365 group that the site is a part of. It will take a few seconds for the site to reactivate and move to the active sites page. Then users will be able to access the site and its contents. Job's a good one. Estimated reactivation fee, $0. We like that. Okay, this amount is based on the retail price for reactivations. Your actual charges may be lesser and can be seen in the Microsoft 365 Archive bill. So you're going to get a bill for that, which one would imagine will appear in your billing summary. Now that's interesting. If I don't know how that will work across multiple forms of billing, like enterprise subscriptions and CSP and that sort of thing. But if you're just going for the default billing scenario with an M365, which, let's face it, a lot of organizations don't, then how will that appear? That's interesting. But let's reactivate it, see what happens. It was reactivated successfully. Wonderful stuff, and nothing to see here anymore. Active sites, it's going to be back in there. And let's have a look. There it is. Amazing. Human resources, back where it belongs. Lovely stuff altogether. Fantastic. So that was nice and simple. Let's just take a wee look at some of the documentation here. Overview of M365 Archive, preview feature. Always important to call out. You've got to be very wary of preview features sometimes because they can change quite suddenly. So keep an eye on that. And things can remain in preview for a very long time. Cloud Skills Challenge still. Oh, if you haven't done the Cloud Skills Challenge, you can still do that until January 15th, but we'll close that off. So here we go. As I just said, feature currently in preview and subject to change. So rolling out currently might not be fully available to all organizations before you begin read the terms and conditions. So telling us what we've already said, really cost-effective storage for keeping inactive or aging data for long periods of time in case you need to retrieve it later. So you would use this really. When would you really use this? You would use this if your SharePoint quota in your SharePoint Admin Center was getting full. So once you get over that 1 terabyte that you have as standard for a tenant of SharePoint space, that can increase and will increase per licensed user by, I think it's 10 gig per user from memory. But it's not uncommon for organizations to exceed that. And then they're going to have to spend money on additional SharePoint storage, which last time I checked wasn't that much. It was something like 73 pence in UK pence, or I don't know what it is in cents for US dollars per gigabyte or something like that. So not a massive amount, but still, the archiving, one would assume it's going to be a more cost effective. So what does this offer us? Additional advantages of using the archive are speed, ultra fast archive of sites of any size, any number of sites. I mean, we did a practically empty site there and it was instant. Be interesting to see what a big one would do in terms of speed of archiving and retrieving. Cost savings, a lower list price on storage consumption beyond your license allocated storage quota. Lossless metadata, so the site will retain all of its metadata and permissions upon reactivation. Decluttering, explicit separation between active and inactive content to help you manage your site's life cycle. Awesome. So this, coupled with the M365 search, index, and the Purview feature set, provides a powerful combination for your long-term data management needs at a price point that matches the life cycle of your content. Microsoft 365 Archive is controlled in the SharePoint Admin Center by global or SharePoint admins. I've gone into a very home shopping channel voice there, haven't I? The sort of thing you might wear with anything to any occasion. Okay, there you go. I digress. So when a site is archived, it goes into an explicitly colder tier, no longer consumes a tenant's active storage quota, and instead drives Microsoft 365 Archive storage consumption. Being in this colder tier means the site is no longer accessible by anyone in the organization outside of Microsoft Purview or admin search. Archiving a site archives everything in it, including document libraries and files, lists, and list data. Okay. Admins should notify site owners and end users before a site is archived so they're aware the site won't be accessible. Very sensible. There are some limitations in the preview, so these are temporary during the preview unless otherwise stated. These limitations will be resolved when the product is available for general release. As part of the preview, tenants with more than 50,000 sites might face issues while trying to enumerate archived sites on the archived sites page. Applicable enhancements are scheduled to roll out in the future. In this scenario, PowerShell can be used to more efficiently archive sites and manage archived content. Okay, fair enough. And currently, end-user search results won't show any archived content. That's key. Columns such as archived date and archived by aren't currently available, but are planned and will be rolled out when available. So watch out for that one. If it's essential that you have that ability for search results, don't use the preview. Multi-geo tenants, while data residency requirements are honored, site moves aren't supported. Archived sites will need to be reactivated prior to any move. Makes sense? Currently, tenant rename isn't supported on archived sites. Sites will need to be reactivated before a tenant rename is triggered. Archiving a site that is currently enrolled in Microsoft 365 Backup will be blocked. Also makes sense. We've not been able to try backup yet because it's not showing as a preview on any of my tenants yet. We'll get to that in another video as soon as it is available. I'm very keen to try that. And then finally, our final gotcha. If you archive a site that has a library syncing to a device, the device's sync client will display errors after the site is archived. We recommend that you remove syncing libraries before archiving a site. Makes perfect sense, that. Good gotcha. So watch out for any synchronizations to a device. That could be a big gotcha that could catch some users and subsequently some admins off guard. So lots of other content in here. That's the overview. We've got the admin setup, which we've just gone through really. The pricing model, that's interesting. What is the pricing all about? It charges for storage and reactivation. So storage consumption is charged at a per gigabyte monthly rate. The meter is only charged when archived storage plus active storage in SharePoint exceeds a tenant's included or licensed allocated SharePoint storage capacity. SharePoint storage, okay. Limit. In other words, there's no additional storage cost for archive sites if the tenant hasn't yet consumed its already licensed storage quota. Interesting. So, in that example, let's go back to our SharePoint Admin Center. Say we archive sites for neatness and tidiness, but we've not exceeded our tenant limit of 1 terabyte rather in this case. We're not going to be charged. Excellent. Very fair-minded of you, Microsoft. I love that. No additional storage. Wonderful. Site reactivation that is charged at a per gigabyte rate. The reactivation fee is charged regardless of whether a tenant is above or below its SharePoint capacity. So, boo, there is a charge here, but that makes sense. And only if reactivation is executed more than 7 days after the site was most recently put into archive. Well, that's very fair, actually. You've got that 7-day grace period where you can think, oh, actually, that's a mistake. I've changed my mind. I can put it back with no cost. Wonderful stuff. Very fair, I think. Monthly archive usage is calculated at the sum of the usage of all currently archived sites. Each site's usage is equal to the site storage usage of that site, which can be seen on the site itself or from the archive sites in the SharePoint Admin Center. The size of an archived site, and therefore the storage for which it's billed, can only change if the content in the site changes. For example, content naturally expiring in the recycle bin, or a retention policy deleting content within the site directly from archive to the recycle bin. Makes sense. Okay, to see the pricing, this is what I wanted in the first place. Okay, but but this has all been useful. I've reading through this. It's given us some handy hints and gotchas. But pay-as-you-go services and pricing for Microsoft Syntex. Let's have a look. Open the page. What do we got? What do we got? What is counted? Pre-built document processing, structured and freeform document processing. Am I going to find archiving specifically? Here we go. Yes, yes, yes. So these are all the other Syntex features and the costs for them, but we're interested in the archive content here. The number of gigabytes, I cannot speak today. The number of gigabytes of data archived. This meter is only charged when archive storage plus active storage in SharePoint exceeds the tenant's included or licensed allocated quota limit. Reactivation of archived data after 7 days. So we've got 5 cents, one presumes, yeah, so 5 cents per gigabyte per month. Shows on invoice as, yeah, okay, 0.00167 gigabyte per day. And what is this figure here? Does that relate to that reactivation? I think it does, but that isn't entirely clear the way they've got that. I think that should be carriage return down one line, that reactivation of archive site data. That's what I'm assuming it is. So there you go. There's the costs. Microsoft Backup, which we couldn't cover today in this video. I will be covering it as soon as it becomes live in Preview in my tenant. But we've got some costs there for that. Number of gigabytes of data backed up. So that is 15 cents per gigabyte per month and shows on your invoice as 0.005 gigabyte per day. So there we go. There's some content on Microsoft Backup Preview there and some overview of that, but we'll not include that because that is not relevant to this particular video. So there you go. That is it. That is our archive setup with Microsoft Syntex in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Thank you all as ever. I hope you enjoyed that video. I learned a lot as I went through there because as you'll have seen, that was the first time I did it. I was learning as you are. And there's a lot of gotchas in there while it's in preview stage. There's things to watch out for. So do be careful if you implement that. But I think it's a positive step forward from Microsoft. Very fair in how they've applied the costing. So I like that. I really do. I'm eager to test out the backup feature. Hopefully it won't be too long before I can do that. So fingers crossed. Right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all very, very soon in another video. You take care of yourselves. Bye for now.